Hi, I'm Jacob Suggs, and welcome back to another episode of Totally Worth Watching. Now, if you aren't familiar with the concept of Totally Worth Watching, the show that I do on the channel, it's essentially where I talk about a movie, a book, or a show that is very much well worth your time and underrated by critics. And today we're going to be talking about a movie called Nerve, which came out in 2016, last year at the time that I'm making this now. Now, I saw this movie with two of my friends. They were really hyped for the movie. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew what the overall concept of the movie was, but I really went in with like zero expectations. And when I walked out of the movie, I was mad that there were a group of preteens behind us talking throughout the course of the movie, but as for the movie, I found it pretty entertaining. So you basically have a concept where there's this application that's making people do all these crazy things, and then you have the people on the other side filming themselves doing these crazy things that other people are telling them to do. And after a while, it gets kind of illegal and extremely dangerous. And that's honestly right now I can tell you where the movie is like its finest. That's where the movie is really, really fun, when it gets those intense, heart-throbbing moments. This is really the first episode of Totally Worth Watching to where I've had to discuss issues that I've had with the film, probably more issues than positives. But granted, the positives are so positive in my mind that they kind of overshadow the negativity that the film has. So the film isn't perfect, but it's still a lot of fun, which is why I'm recommending it to you now. I found the characters in this movie pretty interesting. I was invested in where they were going and what was happening to them, but unfortunately, we've seen these kinds of characters before, and let me explain what I mean by that. Good girl wants to get out of her comfort zone, so she meets bad boy guy who's extreme and takes risks. Together they go on an adventure while avoiding trouble. I mean, that sounds like every 90s movie ever. Or basically, we've just seen that before. We've seen characters like this before, we've seen plots like this before, so in order to make this work, we need something kind of interesting. We need a concept that everybody can kind of get behind to get people in the theater to watch the movie. And that's what Nerve has. The concept of this movie is genius, yet it's simplistic at the same time because there's no way that this could happen in real life. I mean, people have been injured playing this game, people have died playing this game. It mentions that people have been killed while playing this game on the news and stuff at the start of the film. So why would the government and the police and stuff like that, why would they allow this game to continue? Because movie. I can't talk about this movie without bringing up the visual style of this movie because visually speaking, this movie is a 10 out of 10, it's an A+. There's a lot of neon lights, there's almost, it's kind of like Tron to where there's almost some kind of neon light in every single frame or scene in this movie. And it kind of creates a unique experience while watching the movie because it's just, it feels very modern and artistic in a way, but at the same time mainstream. I can't really describe it, you just kind of have to see the movie for yourself. And although the colors in this film are a bit overbearing at times, it made the city a character of its own and the places that they go feel like they were living and alive and full of fun. This movie's also very, very intense and very, very fast-paced. By that, I mean that you really can't take a bathroom break in this movie. Almost like the first 20 minutes of the film are kind of slow in that they're trying to build up to the bigger events that happen later on in the movie. But when those events happen and the big events and dangerous stuff starts to go down, it just doesn't stop until the end of the film, which is kind of a complaint that I have. See, I like the action in this movie. I like the characters and I'm invested and I'm concerned for them and I want everything to turn out on top for them. But my problem is that the movie just kind of abruptly ends. Like there's no real sense of closure. It just kind of ends, which is pretty disappointing. It's just very abrupt and I can't deny that, and it hurts me to say that because the first and second acts of this movie are very well done in my opinion. It's just the third act kind of stumbles a bit, and part of that's because of the lack of realism in this movie. Like I said, this would never happen in real life. There's no way that this could go down. And that causes also some plot holes when you start to logically think about this movie, but if you're looking at it on a surface entertainment level, the movie actually works very well. I think we have solid characters, a very interesting concept, and overall a really solid thriller. It's a bit unsatisfying and uneven at the end because it's probably the biggest, most massive event in the film happens at the end of the movie, yet we don't really care because it's like, one, we saw it coming, and two, it's just so crazy and out of this world that all of the sense of realism that this movie was trying to have was just blown out of the water. The movie is very style over substance, but the substance is still there and I still care about the substance, which makes it a very entertaining popcorn flick blockbuster. And I think that's what the movie was going for, and since it was going for that, it succeeded. Now, if the film was going for psychological thriller, will she play the game, will she not play the game, will she accept the dares or not? Then, I mean, that's part of it, but it's not the main focus, and for that reason, and since it's not taking itself too seriously, I can kind of roll with it. If the movie was like that, then there's no way I'd be recommending it to you now. It'd probably just be pretty boring. But since it isn't, and since it's visually stunning and really exciting and really enjoyable to watch, it gave me that summer movie feel, to where I walk out of a theater in the afternoon after watching a movie and I'm like, I didn't waste my time. That was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But because the film is so enjoyable and so fun and has so much charisma and excitement and colors behind it, it just makes for the quintessential popcorn movie. This is the kind of movie that you plug in your Blu-ray player when you're having a party with some friends or just want to watch a fun movie. This is the kind of movie that I would recommend to put in the Blu-ray player and watch with your friends. It's definitely going to be a really fun time if you do that. Nonetheless, although this movie does have flaws, I don't think the flaws overtake the positivity that this movie has, and it just had a lot going for it, and I think maybe a little bit too much ambition. But overall, I can't deny that I had fun watching this movie, and that's why I'm recommending it to you and why it's worth watching. So what do you think of Nerve? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I'm Frame by Frame. Remember the name. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Totally Worth Watching.